Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And happy midwinter solstice. Today is December the 21st, the shortest day of the year. Today I'm going to have to use my moleskin because I've made quite a few notes which I want to cover, and they may also be an explanation of why I haven't been making videos for so long. And it's all to do with rabbit holes. Firstly, I'd like to say 93 for those of you who understand what that means. Generally in the occult, there is some sort of hierarchical structure. Whether this is a structure of individuals above or below you, or it's to do with personal advancement along some path. In fact, most organized religions have something similar. Now, of particular interest to me is a stage between what is known as Adeptus, Exemptus of the Order of the Rosy Cross, and the next stage, which is Magister Templi of the Order of the Silver Star. In order to progress beyond Adeptus, you have to enter the abyss. In fact, much of the Adeptus work is whilst in the abyss. And this is an abyss in a similar vein to the Jungian shadow self. Whilst within this abyss, you come to terms with you, Nothi Suton, and ultimately you attain conversation with the Holy Guardian Angel. Now, once you emerge from the abyss, which is a lot harder than you can imagine, the next stage is to become Master of the Temple. For me, the closest you can get to attaining what is required to become Magister Templi, Master of the Temple, is what is described in the 1908 book, the Kybalion. Now, this is a fantastic book containing the 7 Hermetic principles. But in true esoteric teaching, this isn't about just attending a course and getting a certificate. It's about truthfully, honestly discovering within yourself certain aspects and certain levels. Now, I left the abyss many, many years ago, and it took me a long time to actually even realize I was in the abyss, which is one of the illusions, this Mara. But for the next stage, what is described in the Kybalion, in my thinking, is extremely, extremely difficult, to the point where I stopped practicing because I was having a negative effect. It's all to do with positive intention. Now, negative intention is extremely easy to accomplish. It's insanely easy because we have so much fear within ourselves. We can project to the universe what it should be doing, and the universe sees so much intent that it gives you it. This could be anything from a breakup in a relationship, or losing a job, or meeting someone you really, really don't want to meet, for whatever reason. And it's so easy. And this is what's scary about this next stage in the occult journey. This negative intention. The aim is to have positive intention, which most people believe means I want to win the lottery, or I want to be a millionaire, or I want a Ferrari. But it's not quite that. It's literally teaching the universe what should be, depending on your will. As Crowley put it, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. So I stopped for quite a long time. And recently, I'm being bombarded by synchronicity. Again, back to Gustaf Jung. I'm being absolutely bombarded just about the Kybalion, but Hermetic principles in general. And everything is pointing me to go back to trying again. If necessary, like completely cleanse my head, my soul, in order to do this. So this is where I want to talk about rabbit holes. Because since 2001, I won't say what event happened in that year, but since 2001, rabbit holes have been appearing all over the place and increasing exponentially in the last 2 decades. There are so many now. Even the most disbelieving of lay people can find a rabbit hole, look into it, and suddenly realize there are so many other things going on they didn't realize. Scary things which are changing the whole world. And this rabbit hole is basically an external image of the inner abyss. And it's very, very easy, once you start delving into these rabbit holes, to get lost in them and go deeper and deeper and deeper. When I was at college, a very astute professor stopped me in a hallway, and I've no idea how he knew what I was studying and practicing, but he said, just remember, the point of going into the abyss is to emerge on the other side, to come out again. And why this is so important at the moment, once you go into these rabbit holes or into your own personal abyss, you forget that you're actually in a rabbit hole or you're in your own personal abyss, because slowly you start adapting to your environs, and that becomes the new normal for you. And it's really, really important to remember this so you can come out again. Nietzsche, to paraphrase Nietzsche, he said, stare long enough into the abyss and the abyss stares back at you. And it is the same with rabbit holes. Follow the white rabbit, but don't follow him too far. This comes down to the Hermetic principle 4 of polarity. What confuses most people, especially in this modern age of YouTube, is reaction against something is still on the same path as action towards something. They're just polar opposites. Now, you may be really, really angry with what some 3-letter organization is doing. So you start delving more and more into it, and you start seeing all these patterns around you, all these negative patterns. And what is happening is you are actually becoming part of the Weltanschauung, the worldview. Yes, you're the negative side, the reactionary side, but you're still part of it. And all you're doing is reinforcing their creation, their belief. It's not you. You're building up theirs. Extremes meet eventually. This is why in political circles there is very little difference between the extreme left and the extreme right. At some point they meet. By digging further and being more and more reactionary, you are eventually going to come out with them. Scary thought. Let's imagine you're a deep sea diver. Now, divers have various equipment to tell them how deep they are going and for how long. And depending on what other scuba apparatus they have, they know they can only go to a certain depth for a certain period of time before they have to return to the surface, sometimes in stages, in order to avoid the bends. There is a big hypnotism involved in diving, where you want to go deeper and deeper and deeper. It's like this attraction to the darkness. And the same is with abyss work and rabbit holes. Except the diver normally has a buddy, a companion, and also experience, which will say, time's up, get back up now, or you're never going to recover. Most people, when they start delving into the abyss, if they're not part of some organization, some temple, or if they start delving into the darker aspects of how the world is run, they don't have this buddy-buddy system. There's no one there to tell them, enough, until they get to the point where they've lost sight of where they entered, and every conversation they have becomes purely about what they are finding and what they're looking for. They lose touch with reality, they lose touch with the people around them. It's very scary. The ultimate aim of the Master of the Temple is to have complete conscious control of him or herself and his or her environment. Because the universe is somewhat holographic. We know this. The universe is filled with intent and the observer effect. Gaining mastery over this means being able to recreate one's life and one's surroundings to fit one's ideal. Do what thou wilt. After all, the all is mind, the universe is mental. It's the basic principle of Hermetic philosophy. So, on this midwinter solstice, have a look at yourself, your thinking, your situation. If you feel like you're going too deep and too negative, then it's time for a cleansing. It's time to stop what you're doing. Come out for a bit. Go do something completely different. Spend a few days watching videos of people riding motorbikes from Patagonia to Alaska and facing real challenges in the real world. But there's no hidden meanings, there's no dark cabals. It's literally you on a bike facing mud and rain and punctures and with this determination to get somewhere. That's the sort of thing I like doing. I mean, maybe you should paint, read a graphic novel, something completely disassociated from negativity. The aim is for you to focus your life on what you want. Do what thou wilt. It's too easy to get waylaid and distracted. I mean, I'll be honest with you. What's going on at the moment, we are entering an entirely new world. Something completely unfathomable 30 years ago. And we could see who the players are. We could see what their actions are, what their intents are. But it's not healthy just to focus on this. You have to live as well. We're only here for 70 years. Bit more, bit less. I would like to end today with a positive story. One that has made me feel really, really proud. On Monday morning, 7:15 in the morning, my 17-year-old daughter took her driving license test. It was -15. And she passed. Now, I'm amazed. -15. In most Western countries, they'd have postponed it. But out here, life carries on. Same as if you go to school. -15, feel cold, put some gloves and a hat on. They're not going to shut down just because you feel cold. My daughter said the car was just sliding all over the place because -15, it's really icy. At -15, your car freezes on the inside. So you have to scrape ice on the outside and on the inside. Now for me, -10 is always the boundary when I know it's getting cold, because that's the temperature your nostril hair freezes, your breath freezes. Anything below -10 starts getting quite hardcore. Anyway, she passed. I think that will be a day she'll remember for the rest of her life, because she was worried enough as it is, and it's like the universe said, no, try it with this level of difficulty. And she did it. She overcame it. Absolutely superb. Hopefully, I'll be able to speak to you before Christmas, or maybe New Year. If not, I wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And, as always, be free.